Wow, look at that! I'm back with another ranking video. Who would have guessed? Don't worry, I like making these videos and you guys enjoy them, so it's a win-win. Today, to feed my addiction with Arc Raiders, we'll be ranking all arcs from worst to best in my personal opinion. Thanks to my amazing timing skills, or otherwise known as procrastination, we're also going to include the 2 brand new arcs introduced in the most recent update. Feel free to leave your own ranking in the comment section down below, and with that being said, my name is Josh, also known as Garbage Boy, and I hope you enjoy. I know for a fact I'm not the only one who despises Hornets. They remind me of those dumb kids that throw rocks at moving cars, just delinquent little brats who do nothing more than annoy you on your quest. Like most smaller drones, they travel in packs. They really aren't a threat on their own, but they have impeccable timing when I'm up against a Bastion or any other large arc. They can somehow sense when I'm in a corner bleeding, and they just swoop in to finish the job. They have armor around their front thrusters, so taking them down requires a few more shots than I would like, but sometimes you can't get the back ones when crouching or from a different angle entirely. I just hate seeing them because they just have enough bulk to be a nuisance and do enough damage where it's just not worth the risk. And even then, when I execute a perfectly timed dodge, they still hit me. And that alone is enough to get a huff and puff out of me. I hate these guys, so they're at the bottom of the what you get what I'm saying. The Surveyor is number 16, solely because I don't really encounter them all that much, and I don't really care about them. They don't even do anything, to be honest, besides run away after shooting them. They do carry some rare materials, but you need to be a full-on marathon runner to chase them down effectively. I have nothing to say because, again, all they do is run away. Like, what do you want me to talk about? Wow, it rolls. That's so cool, man, I guess. I mean, it does open up and sends data back into orbit. You can see the light from far distances. It's actually a good way of spotting them, but I think I've seen that like twice in my 30 hours of playtime. It's cool, but it's just boring to me. The turret is exactly what it sounds like. It is a turret that's stationed in strategic enclosed areas to catch raiders off guard. It's not a unique concept, that's for sure, but I have enough humility to admit that this thing got me a few times when I first started playing. To give them credit, they are placed in sneaky spots or straight up in your face, challenging you to do something about it. In the end, it's not all that bad. Okay, a couple shots from the Pharaoh and it's down, alright? I do like the design though. The arcs inside structures tend to have a lighter color palette, and the turret showcases these colors quite nicely. So you know what? I mean, that's the graphic designer in me talking, but it's cool. The Sentinel. They're not found inside buildings, sometimes, but across the outer edge of structures or underneath long bridges to catch raiders off guard down below. I'll admit, I don't have much footage of them because, believe it or not, I never encountered a Sentinel until like 15 hours into my playtime. I have no clue how I managed to avoid their habitats, but I did, and honestly, I'm glad that I did. These things hit like a truck, and they can track you from long distances, and they're kind of hard to kill. The only reason why I have to fight them is for their cores to upgrade something. I forgot what it was. But yeah, it was pretty annoying. I don't really like long, tedious fights from long distances, so I'm fine with staying out the way for now. Yet another nearly useless arc in my opinion is the Spotter. This machine reminds me of the dork in class who's like, teacher, you forgot to give us homework. And then everyone kills Matthew, or whatever his name is. Their sole purpose is to snitch on your position to nearby arcs, specifically the Bombardier, who can yeet rockets across the continent to hit your cranium. It doesn't really do anything on its own. I kinda like to kill the Bombardier and watch the Spotter desperately try to summon more help. It's like a spellcaster without any mana, completely useless. I do like the idea, I really do. I think it's clever that not every arc is dealing damage, having those support classes, if you want to put it that way. It really adds complexity to the enemy we raiders are up against. It's pretty neat. Now, the Tick is the smallest arc in the game and is reminiscent of Headcrabs from Half-Life 2 or any other game that has small enemies that latch onto you. It's not like entirely unique as well, but when playing this game solo, it can be kinda scary. They move akin to spiders, so that's already a problem for arachnophobics. I see you out there. But then they'll launch themselves at you and try to tear you apart. I mean, you know how it goes. Especially during a night raid, these things are very creepy. Thankfully, they're super easy to kill, usually just one bullet, but because of this, they travel in packs, so, I mean, you just shoot them. Besides that, they don't really pose much of a threat. The Fireball is an interesting little roly-poly. Not to be confused with the Pop Arc, the Fireball does exactly what its name entitles. It rolls towards any raiders within range and bellows out large flames that linger on the ground. They're not that threatening if you can spot them before they spot you, and even then you can roll away to safety. I don't really like these guys because they're annoying and there's not much else to them, but you know what? Sometimes the purpose of an enemy's design is to be annoying, and you know what? I can acknowledge that, but it doesn't mean I dislike the Fireball any less. They inhabit inside structures and will patrol the dark hallways within to make sure you're aware that even with all this cool gear on, you're not fireproof. Inside the traffic tunnel on the Blue Gate map is where I find plenty of them alongside Pops, and they can be very irksome when I'm trying to take down the Bastion that usually spawns there. The audio in this game can be quite loud, especially when fighting the Bastion, so before I know it, the Fireball will spring up on me and force me to play the floor as lava. And you know what? I'm not a fan personally, but I do think they're cute in their own robotic way. Not to be confused with the Fireball, I mean, I've already mentioned it a couple of times, the Pop is a rolling disaster, whose only goal is to suicide bomb any raider nearby. Thankfully, like the Fireball and Tick, they usually only take one good shot from the Pharaoh or any other strong weapon. I have about 31 hours into Arc Raiders at the time of writing this script, so I know where most of them spawn on most maps at this point, so they don't necessarily surprise me anymore, but when they did, it was very rude and very annoying. Here I am trying to loot for fried motherboards or discarded underwear, whatever it is, and a freaking Pop will come in and ruin my day. They're like that spoiled kid who, if they aren't the center of attention, will literally explode into a rampage. And yes, I've seen that before. Now the Snitch is like the Spotter, but way more dangerous. Instead of snitching to arcs on the ground, the Snitch will summon comrades from freaking orbit. It's pretty cool, until I realized it summons 2 wasps and a hornet. Not a combination that I prefer to tango with, but again, I love the concept here. A support class amongst the arc that summons other arcs is awesome. Surprisingly bulky too. I mean, I can launch 3 heavy hits from the Pharaoh and it will still be kicking around. Its range of detection is quite small, and by the time it does summon support, you can run far enough where they won't chase you down. It's when you're pinned by another arc, that's when the Snitch becomes an issue. Still, I like it a lot. Very rarely do I have an affinity towards the basic enemies in video games. You know, the smallest grunt, the first enemy you see. They're basic, boring, and they're kinda only there to get you started, to help you learn the mechanics of a game. While the Wasp is most likely the first arc you'll come across in Arc Raiders, by no means is it basic or boring. I haven't mentioned it until now, but the AI in this game is outrageously good. A Wasp will outmaneuver a raider if they're hiding behind cover or hover down into the hole of a roof to chase them inside a building. By no means are they a pushover if they land some hits on you, because they certainly pack a powerful sting. Like the Hornet, you can shoot off their thrusters and they will try to readjust themselves mid-flight before attempting another barrage of bullets. I mean, I like their designs and their tenacity. Even though they're the first enemies I faced in the game, they're still a problem, even after all this time of playing the game. I've taken down huge arcs before, but these things, in the right circumstances, can kill you easily. You cannot just leave them there if you're spotted. It's necessary to take care of them, and that's what I appreciate about this game, that everything is still a threat, and that threat does not go away once you get better gear. And again, I just really like their designs. Now we're getting into the big boys. What can I say? I like the tougher arcs in the game. I think their designs are better and overall more interesting, not intimidating. I mean, I guess they are. But anyways, the Bombardier, that's my next one. I've realized now that the Spotter's sole purpose in life is to be the biggest douchebag in the world and to alert these Kobe accurate machines to drop mini nukes on top of me. You will never see a Spotter anywhere else in this game. If you see them, a Bombardier is always below them. It's truthfully so stressful when I grab their attention and a Spotter is calling out my position like, dude, he's right here, dude. Like, this is not esports. You're a robot in a video game. Leave me alone. Even without the Spotters, Bombardiers are a formidable opponent. Honestly, one of the, I think it's the hardest arc in the game, in my humble opinion, besides the Queen and the Matriarch. Their rockets are scary accurate and deal insane damage. Nothing is more terrifying than a Spotter highlighting your position. It's so scary. Their weakness lies in their arthritis. Shoot the joints enough and the legs will pop off one at a time, which will cripple the giant machine, which doesn't mean that it's defenseless because it can still launch rockets. And on top of that, even if you do take care of the Spotters, they can respawn in like a matter of minutes. Killing one alone is beyond my pay grade, unless this video gets like 20k views, then that's fine. But man, like at this point, I just tend to avoid them. And you know what? There's some respect to be had for that. The Rocketeer is the largest flying Ark in the game. Even though I've defeated multiple, it is still a dangerous and kinda unpredictable foe. Because of its incredible ability known as flying, this machine becomes much more dangerous than the rest of the big Arks. I think most of my deaths in this game are attributed to Rocketeers because, as the name suggests, their rockets are like homing missiles and their radius of damage is insane. You want to shoot the thrusters, but they're armored and they still take a lot of hits even afterwards. But what you want to do is you want to focus on one and chip at it until it blows off. You'll significantly reduce the Rocketeer's mobility, and unless you make a whoopsie or lag, you've pretty much won the fight. It is, however, still incredibly smart, and will find sneaky ways to shoot inside buildings. Like one time, I was with my friend Logan, we were playing the game, we were inside a building, and it shot a rocket through the tiniest hole in the roof. Like, we thought we were safe, until I saw the laser on my back, and before I knew it, I was dead. I like the Rocketeer a little more than the other two because I respect how dangerous they are, but how manageable they can be if they are your target. Plus, it's cool seeing a giant flying drone that can shoot rockets. I mean, I'm never gonna not like that. The Shredder is the newest Ark in Ark Raiders, and wow, they are gruesome. Shredding doesn't even begin to describe what they do to you. Demolish is more like it. There are these small pod-like drones that float around the new map, Stellar Montes, and when they spot you, they unleash a wide range of pellets that nearly kill you with full health. Now, I'm not sure yet if it's like a range in front of them or all around them, like an AoE. Because as you can see, the bullets ricochet off the far wall here. Ricochet is also one of my favorite songs from Starset. There was no reason for me to say that, I just wanted you to know my music taste. But in Stellar Montes, Shredders are the main threat. They are everywhere on this freaking map. Sometimes I'll find two of them together. And while they don't have as much health as a Rocketeer or Leaper, they are still quite bulky. They patrol the hallways near the rooms or wide open areas in Stellar Montes, and they are enough of a threat to not engage with right away. Thankfully, the map has plenty of cover, but a Shredder will not hesitate to chase you down and unleash a full blast of bullets in your face. First impressions, I like them a lot. I think they pose a unique threat and are the perfect middle ground of difficulty. I do hope we get more arcs like this in the future. The easier cousin to the Bombardier is the Bastion, which I said before in my last video, you should check it out by the way. It looks like a bloated tick. You'll find these guys around open areas with lots of cover to help aid you against these beasts if you choose to fight them. I personally find them to be the easiest amongst the larger arcs in the game because in the traffic tunnel especially, the cars provide great cover and shooting their legs is a piece of cake. The Bastion is not equipped with a rocket launcher, rather a Gatling gun that will shred you into Swiss cheese. Thankfully, old rusty cars are bulletproof in this game, so you can safely chip away at their legs while they carelessly flail about. They can reposition, which is cool to see, but are too slow for it to matter. One of the most satisfying things in this game is popping off the leg of a Bastion. It feels so good to have that like small victory over this machine. Out of all the arcs in the game, I think the Bastion at this point has dealt the least amount of damage to me, which is saying something. Well, maybe the ticks and spotters and surveyors, look, all I'm trying to say is that I've mastered their fight, and it feels great to do that. Lastly, before the two obvious choices, we have the Leaper. I'm not going to spin a long thread here to explain why I like this arc. The only reason why this thing is placed so high on my list is because of how funny it is. I mean, come on, a giant machine that will ragdoll itself across the entire map just to pounce on you is hilarious. If you find the one near the head house, you can actually lead it down to the shaft here and just enjoy the show. It'll constantly try to leap up into the ledge there, and it's so funny just to see it fail. These things are chaotic and cause some crazy mayhem in almost every circumstance. Fire is their weakness, and you can take out one pretty quickly with a couple of bullets and a few blaze grenades, but I much prefer to provoke one just to see what it'll do. Most likely leap at you, but I can't tell you how many times I was about to extract and I shot at one just to see how far it would jump to catch me. They're clumsy buffoons, and I love them for it. Not because of their design or difficulty, but because they're funny, and have created some funny moments in my time with Ark Raiders. I don't think it's a surprise here that the Queen and Matriarch are my top choices. If you've been on the channel before, you know that I love difficult boss fights. These two are the hardest arcs in the game, ones that require team effort from not just you, but the randoms across the map as well. I only recently was able to defeat the Queen with a bunch of randoms in solo, and it was easily my favorite moment from this game. The Matriarch I haven't beaten yet, but I have attempted numerous times, so I have an idea of what the fight is like. I'm kind of talking about them together because they are essentially the same thing, they play the same role, but for formality's sake, the Queen is number 1, and the Matriarch is number 2, mostly because I have more experience with the Queen and I actually beat it. The Matriarch is kind of like in progress, if that makes sense. However, there are differences to point out. Firstly, the Queen is guarding what's called the Harvester, another arc that acts as an alive puzzle. It harbors some crazy blueprints for legendary weapons, so it's pretty much worth it every single time. I almost considered putting the Harvester on this list, but I thought it's a bit unconventional, and if anything, it would be an honorable mention. The Queen has your basic attacks that most giant robots would have. Lasers, a force field, rockets, gigantic legs to crush you with, you know, the basics. It's not really the design or attacks that I like about the Queen, it's the experience. Working together with random people to take down this giant arc was so much fun. Rarely did I ever come across hostile raiders who either wanted to help or just leave the situation. I always made it very clear, like, hey, I'm about to take on the Queen, you should probably leave if you don't want to get caught in the crossfire. I mean, it's a tough battle. It'll easily take most of your time topside to take down the Queen, chipping away at its armored plating, shooting the core, and eventually looting everything. You can find her rare parts even on the shells from her legs, so I like to shoot them off, run as fast as I can to them before anyone else can loot them. Sometimes I would only shoot the leg off, loot that, and then just leave. I either don't have the time or ammo to continue, so I think of it as like a smart retreat. The Matriarch is mostly the same, experience-wise, but it does have some new mechanics too. Firstly, I do like the design a little bit more. I like the little horn thing that it has, but it can shoot toxic clouds that have easily cornered me and my team before. Like in the right circumstances, it's even more dangerous than a giant rocket. The other thing, and this is where it really differentiates, is that the Matriarch can summon other Arc from orbit to attack you. I mean, I've had this thing summon ticks, leapers, bastions, like, you know, the whole package basically. It creates chaos very quickly. She can also flashbang you, and with my terrible college internet, it was the scariest moment of my life. Force fields to prevent damage, and can even guide existing Arc to attack us, even if they weren't aggroed in the first place. My friends and I were firing our first rounds into the Matriarch when it decided to just hire a Rocketeer to kill us. Safe to say we didn't survive, but these are the moments that make Arc Raiders so well done. Even though we lost, we were laughing so hard at just the sheer amount of things that were happening on screen. The Matriarch, I think, is more difficult than the Queen and requires at least 2 well-positioned teams to take it down. You have to split the aggro basically, not just for the Matriarch, but for the other arcs she'll summon. I only have 1 rare material at the moment, and I'm gonna keep that until I'm confident enough to make the new weapon. But yeah, I think that about sums up my list. I think all the Arc are special in their own unique ways. Except the Hornet, I freaking hate that thing. Hopefully we get more in the future, I mean, I'm sure we will. And of course, I would love to hear about your own ranking down below in the comment section. And if you did enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like and to subscribe for more content like this. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care everyone, and of course, stay safe.